Welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur, the community for entrepreneurs who put lifestyle first. Join your host Flavia Barris as she interviews successful lifestyle solopreneurs and shares ideas to help you find the perfect balance between lifestyle, business, and self. Flavia is an attorney, marketing expert, and founder of several online academies. She's been featured in major media, including BBC World News, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Post, ESPN Television, and more. Join us for this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur. Hey, Lifestyle Solopreneurs. Today we get to speak with Chris Long. His journey is one of grit and vision. Starting as a contractor in need of storage for the big stuff in his business, he founded Longyards Storage, transforming a personal challenge into an international powerhouse for secure, large-scale storage solutions. Alongside his success in industrial storage, Chris built a strong foundation in real estate, starting with multifamily investments and now focusing on heavy industrial acquisitions. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
It's great to have you because I actually get questions. I work in the real estate field and people are sometimes saying, okay, tell me more about storage facilities and owning storage units and also mobile home parks. Those seem to be the two that people are, and laundromats. That one I get questions on too. They get very curious about these business models and, it's kind of a mix of pure real estate, but also business and operations. I want to know how you went from where you started to where you are today and how you were able to accomplish that and be on that journey.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I would say trial and error and perseverance. It's like, what doesn't work, keep trying. And then you only find out what works after the lessons of failures to find out what does work. So that's what led me to storage. I was flipping houses as a carpenter, running a construction company, and loved real estate, love income from tenants. And then had pain from tenants not paying. I was like, okay, I like the game, but I got to play it differently. And that's why a lot of seasoned real estate people kind of navigate naturally to self-storage mobile home parks because they're more diversified, more tenant base, and they have that passive income, which everybody loves. And there's more control process. So, a little bit about my journey and happy to get into it.
Well, tell us, you started flipping homes. So you were working as a carpenter, you were in the trades, you were on construction sites and remodeling homes and doing that. Like, what was the first catalyst that catapulted you to that next step where you could transition into a different career and a different vision for yourself?
It's a really good question. It's funny because, I don't know where the initial spark happened because I was around 14 years old when I knew I was like, okay, I need to do something different and get into some sort of asset class that creates wealth and residual income. So where the original, infancy of that thought came from, I don't know. Perhaps I was selling chocolate bars at 14, knocking on doors. I'm like, okay, this is great. But the thought quickly was like, you need to figure out how to get to the next level. And it was funny. I had two journeys. It was always like sales, knocking on doors, whether it was selling asphalt in high school, chocolate bars at 14 or whatnot. And then it led to being in the trades as well, because I just love building. I'm very visionary. I also love being more of a craftsman, got into carpentry. It took 4 years to become a licensed carpenter. And then I ran my construction company for 10 years. So, and then during that transition, I got into houses, turned the houses into duplexes, did it again, started building my real estate portfolio. And that's how it started. I don't know what the initial bug was, but I had that itch to get that passive income and I wasn't going to stop till I had it.
So compare yourself today, like yourself today, your life today, your schedule today, what you do day to day, week to week, and compare that to the person you were when you were at sort of the peak of your old career working in construction, and give us some of the contrasts. What are some of the biggest differences that you have in your life today compared to those years?
That's such a great question. And I try to reflect because there's so many lessons I've learned from the past. And being a general contractor, growing your company, you learn so much. And sometimes you learn the wrong way or the hard way, but you're too in it to zoom out to see it. So hindsight's 2020. Now that I've zoomed out, I can, with clarity, kind of digest those lessons. And, at that age, I was like 25 and I had 10 jobs, 14 employees, and then we had a lot going on. It was just like you're putting out fires all the time. So I learned a lot about delegation, building systems and processes. So now, I have this foundational skill set that allows me to grow in a more methodical approach. Now, what did change a lot is, the virtual world compared to construction. Like, construction is very satisfying because you see everything happen so fast. Where here, I'm building like digital assets and everything, with your team is like on computer. So that lifestyle change is very different. But seeing the rewards and seeing it all come together is still a roadmap and a path that I take a lot of pride and joy in. So the contrast is a lot different, but a lot still the same. It's just you take the lessons with you and you stack them all on top of each other. And I'm building more of a brick house now than, the three little piggies and kind of having made out of straw for the first one or two because I've learned a lot. So as long as you're moving forward and you're taking the lessons with you, then you just build a stronger foundation. And that'd be the contrast I'd say I have now.
So tell us about Longyards Storage. If you were to describe your company and sort of what it does, how it works, do you have competitors? Are you sort of kind of alone in your region? Tell us a little bit about the company. I'm very curious. I love learning because I think companies, it's kind of like asking someone about your kids, like, oh, what sports do your kids play? It's, you're like, hey, tell me about your company. I'm so into entrepreneurship and I love the world of business that for me, that's always fun.
Yeah, yeah. So Longyards, we're a completely vertically integrated real estate and business acquisition company. So what we do is like self-storage. Now, for listeners, like what's Longyards? We're not your traditional brick and mortar, four walls on a roof storage facility. We're very similar, except it's storage yards. Okay, so picture 5 to 10 acre property. Instead of units, you drive down this road, and on the sides, it's fenced in yards with a gate, with cameras and lights, and a keypad. And it's all the same thing, except it's a yard. And these yards are for contractors. So that's basically what we do. We provide this service. And then we ask, is there much competition? The answer is not right now. I don't see it. And we're not seeing it because it's still extremely difficult. The asset class we're going after is extremely hard to get. It's very pricey. It's very scarce. And we have to really creative on how we solve this problem, which I love doing something very creative. But we do have 4 locations. We do have more on the way. And this is all I do. So excited to dive into it. But yeah, we do the acquisition, the construction, the marketing, the lease up, the management. We're pretty much A to Z, and I love it.
So how does it work with security? Because I'm picturing sort of like when you're there, you can see other people's stuff too. At least like in a traditional self-storage for like household goods, people have their roll-up doors or whatever, and they close the door and the person in the storage unit next to them doesn't necessarily see what they've got in there, which is why there's that TV show. Oh, what's it called? It's the one where like there's abandoned storage units and then people go and like buy them at auction, but it's always like a surprise. Like you might open it and there's like just like one old piano that's falling apart in there, or you open it and it's like full of gold. But in this case, it's all kind of open to other people seeing the pile of materials, or how does security work?
Yeah. So first of all, my philosophy as the founder of Longyards is out of sight, out of mind, right? So most of what people think when they're thinking of like a storage yard or industrial, it's just more like rugged, which in a lot of cases it is, but that's not what we do. So we have nice landscaping in the front. So immediately your first impression is you can't even tell. And then you have fabric around each of the yards. So you want to, again, be out of sight, out of mind. So in your yard, you have your own fully fenced in yard with fabric around it. So you do have a high element of privacy between you and your neighbors. That's the first element of security. The second one is obviously you have your gate. No one's getting in and out of the property unless they have access like a traditional self-storage facility. The other layer is we have cameras everywhere, and that's being closely monitored. The fourth, which is the biggest thing, and this is actually a good problem, is I got people leaving their gates open all the time because they're just coming in and out, and we're like, hey, remember to close your gate. But they just have so much trust for the facility because it's so active. There's people coming and going, and with that kind of community activity, everyone just has such a sense of trust with the facility. So there's a lot of layers of security that are stacked on top of each other just to create that comfort. And you're putting your equipment in goods, you want to know it's secure, and I think we did a good job kind of putting that into a nice little warm bundle.
Amazing. So what is your lifestyle like? How many hours a week or a month do you have to put into this business? Because I know you do other things as well. So let's just focus on this particular business first, and then kind of go into how do you spend your free time? I always love to just hear from other entrepreneurs on how they're managing their time, because that's our most valuable resource. That's the one you can't really replace. The minutes tick by and they're gone forever. So I always love to know, how do you stay sane? Because we live in a world where we are constantly being pulled in different directions. There's notifications pinging and going off on our phones and everywhere else. And so tell us a little bit about your secret sauce for staying balanced.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a hard thing. Like, where is balance? And I'd be lying to you at this point in my journey if I said I had a perfect balance, because I'm so mission and focus driven that I'm in a season of my business right now where like it is go, go, go. The good news is that, me as kind of a father and, I'm a girl dad, I got three daughters. It was like, how do I provide the comfort for those I love first? And then I'm kind of like last on the list. So like my wife's a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't have to work anymore. My daughters, they're homeschooled. So like I wake up and my family is in a beautiful home, a beautiful environment, and I'm doing something I love. So immediately I've checked the boxes of priorities of just self lifestyle gratification. And now, like, because I'm doing something I love, it's never really work. I want to work. Even we have a Disney trip coming up in 2 weeks or three, and we're going to Europe and cruising. And I'm super excited for the cruise, but I'm also like fired up to work. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask, but the secret sauce is just like, why are you doing this? Grounding yourself on the mission, because with a strong purpose, then you're going to stay persistent to move forward. But it's also, who are you doing it for and why? And I guess that's my secret sauce. I mean, I'm still active. I go to the gym. I do boxing. I still have like a healthy lifestyle, and I think I eat good, and life is good. But it's really, providing the support for the people you love that kind of keeps me ticking in. That's my why.
What's your message for other entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, aspiring solopreneurs, people who might still be stuck at their job and just are looking for what's that next thing for them? You're on this show, right? We have this community of people. What would your message be for the community of entrepreneurs at heart? Whether they're already entrepreneurs or not, if that's what they're passionate about, what can they learn from you that you can pass on to them?
My lesson would be, find something that you want to do, or whatever you feel like you're being compelled. Like if you have a tick and you're like, whatever it is, it's really bothering you, find someone who's an expert in that tick and listen to them and study them and try to get around them and learn from them. And then see how you can catapult where you are now using what you've learned from them to get to where you want to go. Ideally doing something you love, or that's your mission driven purpose. And that's what I did. When I was younger, I didn't know how to be the best builder. I surrounded myself by great builders. Even as a CEO and a founder, I didn't know how to be the best CEO and founder. What did I do? I got coaching and I learned from other CEO and founders. So there's always a proven roadmap. You just got to be resourceful enough to find who has that checklist, that path in front of you. Sometimes you're like, where do I start? It's like, just start with step one, find what's your drive, and then go after the person, or start learning how to get there. And you can even talk to AI to start. It's crazy, right? Like, give you a checklist. It's so advanced. But yeah, that'd be my message to those that are feeling like they want to have a higher purpose, because it comes with a battle though. I mean, it's nice on this side but I've gotten a lot of scars, and sometimes everyone wants to view, but no one wants to climb the mountain. So just know that there's a climb and get ready for that pain. And if you're willing to endure it because you want that view, then I would say start to climb.
What's next for you when you look on the horizon and you're headed to more of a climb, right? Or unless you're telling me right now, like you're at the top of your mountain and you're sort of going to just hold steady. But if you're headed to new heights and new projects, new things, or maybe just growth, where is that? What direction are you taking your life, your company, and your journey?
Right. So we have a big mission. Like, we want to be international, and we already are. We're in Canada, we're in the US, and we have a vision to really solve this problem. And it's funny, the higher you climb, the higher the mountain gets, and the more skills and barriers that break through with that climb. So where it ends, I don't know. I don't know if there's like an actual amount that I'm like satisfied. It's a weird thing, but yeah, I'm just going to keep climbing. And what I love the most is just personal growth. It's like, it's not the climb, it's like the climber I'm becoming. So that's what I really enjoy the most. And, if you talk to somebody who loves walking, or someone that wants to get, that has a destination in mind, it's the person that loves walking that's going to go the farthest. And I just love learning and being curious about opportunities and innovation. I love innovation. So as long as I can continue innovation and doing something I love, I don't see an end in mind. I'm just going to keep down this path. And if I'm changing people's lives that I love around me while I'm doing something I love, like, why would I ever want to stop from that? It's a great place to be.
And what are some of your favorite tools? I mean, it sounds like this kind of business could have been run decades ago, before we had internet and computers and all the things we have now. But I'm sure that in your world, I mean, you mentioned AI. I'm sure you're leaning into a lot of what's available these days with technology. So, what are some of your favorite, software and hacks and ways that you implement help into your business to optimize what you're doing?
Oh man, that's such a good question. Like I have a founder answer, a CEO answer, and a Chris Long carpenter answer. At the beginning,
Love it.
your tools are like, I literally had to work a weekend to buy one tool, whether it was building decks. Okay, now I have a hammer drill. I can drill this ledger board into the side of the concrete. Now I could get a framing nailer. Now I can get a quick drive. And every tool, I had the skill set now allowed me to move faster. And as crazy it is, like now I filled up my entire driveway with tools back then just to do like three jobs at once. Now, nowadays my tool's a laptop, but it's like there's so much information. It's like, what tools do you actually know what to use? So the biggest thing is actually clarity with your vision and your mission. And then your tools and your systems and processes come after the mission and vision. And then you're able to stack the people and the talent into the system to then get to the mission that you're on. And that defines what tools you should be using and looking at. Because we're vertically integrated, we are like across the board. So we're not just like a one size fits all. We have to find specific management tools, and we have to find different tools for our tech stack, whether it be for CRM or, lead nurturing, even for marketing. So yeah, but the biggest thing that recently is a big breakthrough was a tool that I actually built. So this is more like a bit of a system transition, but we used to use we use EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. And then I actually built my own tool called the Longyards operating system because we found a few holes in the EOS system. And this allows all of our team in like a semantic tree style visual roadmap to be like, okay, this is where I am in the company. This is where we're going. This is who is in charge of the operations. These are the KPIs. This is the roadmap, the storming. And that's that's the CEO, Chris Long. It's like these tools, it needs, especially in a virtual digital world, you need clarity with your team. And so everyone to be rolling consistently in the right area, including like urgencies and delegation systems. So yeah, the tools now are different than what they were, but hopefully that wasn't like too of an overwhelming answer. But it's building transparent tools and systems for people to be going in the right direction. And I can get into what we're using now, but that's basically what we're doing.
Amazing. And how big of a team do you need to do something like running one of these storage facilities?
That's the funny thing. Like building one is much different than building the machine to build many. So when you're building one, like you need one part-time employee, which is great, right? This is like laundromat for land for anyone listening. So you need one part-time employee, and then you need someone who can answer the phone and manage that part-time employee. So you're looking at like two part-time employees, and if it's you, it could be yourself for anywhere from 5 to 15 hours a week. And like my first location made me a multimillionaire and enough cash flow to literally go from Canada to living in a nice, beautiful home, kids financial, life is good, 40 grand a month, working 5 hours a week with one location. That's basically what we're able to help people achieve, and by giving them the roadmap and the tools to build. So yeah, that's the answer.
And for people listening who are inspired by your story and actually, because you should always, I think, go into business doing something where you have some kind of natural affinity. Like obviously you were in the construction world. You knew contractors, that was your world and you felt comfortable there. And so you sort of took it to a new level, but you're still, I'm sure it didn't feel like alien territory and it felt very comfortable. So if someone's listening going, wow, I mean, that sounds like the business model for me as well. What would you recommend to someone who wants to get started doing what you do and sort of follow in your footsteps? Where would they go next? What would be their first step after listening to this show?
Yeah. So what I would say is, again, like find someone who's gone through it. Like for me, the first location took 3 years. You got to go through so many like red tape. The second location took another 3 years. The third location took 3 months. The fourth location we're going to have done in 8 weeks. So it's all the learning curve. So find that mentor, that expert that's been through it, that's gone through the the goblins and everything else, and has fought the wars. And now he's got the scars. And just don't reinvent the wheel. Go where the wheel's already built. And that's what we're doing. We're partnering with people. So what we do is we find people that are in a great location. They're motivated to get their own location facility started, and you could be in this for as low as $50,000. because we're doing leases, and because we're partnered with the SBA, we're on the directory. If you got a 90-10 loan to value, so you could buy or lease a piece of dirt and do this entire build out and cash flow nicely for a small amount down. So, and we do that through a go long or go home. So if people want to learn more, we just like, look, it's $5,000. We give you 14 days, give these tools, teach you the process because we want to educate you. If you don't like it, 100% money back. Here's your $5,000. You just don't compete, right? This is non-compete. But that's basically it. So I would say, whatever path you're on, and for us, that's what we do. Because we have a big mission and we need people. We need people and talent to help us achieve that mission internationally. So that's how we're doing it. We're finding people that want to work with us.
How do people tap into this? So what is the best way to connect with you and your company to be a part of that mission?
And for us, it's simple. Just go to longyards.com, learn a little bit more. And then there's a lead form there you can fill out, and we'll have someone reach out to you. And that's how you find us.
Longyards.com. Easy URL to remember. So even if someone's driving their car right now, they can probably remember that, longyards.com. And I just think it's been such a fun chat with you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Because again, I do consider time to be one of our most valuable resources. And for you to give up your time to be here and sort of open our eyes and show us something new that's possible out there, something that may not be very common. And so it's sort of unique. You're the first guest we've had that works in this particular specific niche. And I just love learning about new, some people say niches or niches that are very unique and different and kind of a combination of others, right? Because storage yards for just household goods, I mean, that's pretty common. And, people know about sort of owning warehouses. That's also kind of done. And that's for more industrial uses. So it's really interesting to me to see that you've kind of created this new industry, really. I mean, you're the first I've heard that's doing this very specific thing. So thank you for sharing it with us and teaching us how you got here and what your journey has been like. I find it motivating and inspiring. So thank you again for taking the time today.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me as a guest.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, and if you leave a review on iTunes, I promise I will read every single review. If you know someone who makes a full-time living from part-time work, and maybe this is you, please visit lifestylesolopreneur.com to nominate a guest or to nominate yourself. Because remember this, money doesn't buy happiness. But money in the hands of a happy person, there is no greater tool.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Get Shift Done program. It's a lifestyle-changing online class to help you define your business and lifestyle ambitions and to set goals in a way you've never experienced before. This class will 10x your daily productivity with methods that will blow your mind. And if you use a coupon code podcast, the class tuition is 99% off. Visit GetShiftDone.com to enroll today.